Hey everybody, it's TR again. And the topic of today's video is going to be, because of my last video on pedal boards, I mentioned I don't use my pedal board anymore. So I thought I would do a video on this Nu-X MG30 modeling processor pedal type thing. That is the reason I don't use my pedal board. It's not going to be a tutorial because there are very good tutorials out there on YouTube, better than I could do. And this does so many things. So it's going to be more of an overview of what this pedal can do for you. So right now, before I start getting into that, I will talk about just some basic things with the construction. Made out of metal. It's heavy. They have a cheaper version, which was the first one I bought before I realized they had this metal version. The cheaper one, I don't remember the actual numbers and letters for that one, but it's like $220 maybe. This is $299, not an awful lot more. That one had a lot of plastic on it. This is all metal. It's heavy. These control knobs on here actually have Allen screws that hold them on. They're not pressed on. Your 1/4-inch inputs on the back are all metal with metal nuts, so they're not like your basic, plastic PC board holding them in type things. I mean, I'm very confident there's a PC board connection on the other side, but there is actual metal nuts threaded onto the input jacks. It's not just a plastic sleeve sticking out. The treadle for the expression pedal is got this very rugged surface on it. It's got a heavy-duty spring. It feels substantial. These switches, I had the cheaper one first and thought, oh, I didn't know they had this. I wish I'd have got it. And be careful what you wish for, because the switches on the other one were like plastic collared, and I questioned how well they'd last. Well, not very long. They broke quick. So I actually returned it and got this one. These are metal, and these also are of the type that are replaceable. These metal collars here, you can see there's like slots in them where you can unscrew them, and these switches could be replaced if they did wear out. So anyhow, enough of that flapping. I'm going to switch to a view of what this does and just give an overview. There are so many little secret tricks and ins and outs and things you can control with this. And oh yes, by the way, it has an input for expansion switches, which, these could be 30, 40 bucks. But you know what? This came with it. Not a penny extra, it came with it. So what does this do? Well, this ends up giving you 5 buttons. So you can control pretty much anything you would want to with the amount of switching you have under your foot. It takes a 9-volt included power supply. It's got a USB jack, which is another reason why tutorial, not only would it not be as good as some of the ones out there, the company's actually got one on YouTube, but also things change. I've already updated the firmware on this. People had some features they weren't happy with, and they're like, oh, okay, fine. They changed it, and with the firmware update, people got what they asked for. So that would be an argument for this. The other argument you could have against it would be if it becomes unsupported, it's a paperweight. But I'm thinking it's going to last for quite a few years. Most definitely it will keep working in its last upgrade iteration if they did stop supporting it. And it's $299. And it sounds great, which you're going to hear coming up next. Okay, so we got her all hooked up and set to go. And we're going to see if we can't demonstrate a little bit. So we turn it on. And after all, it is a computer, so it has to boot up. It doesn't take too long. Probably not any longer than the tube amp would take to warm up, actually. I bet you a lot less. So let's do the first feature. Oh, very important. This treadle will act as a volume control. pretty much regardless. You can't shut it off. You can change the parameters to make it so the lowest setting still is some volume, but it will act as a volume control. So if this is back here and you don't have sound coming out, that's why. Make sure it's forward. So it's got a tuner. Naturally, it's got a tuner. So you hold these two buttons down together and you get the tuner. So let's tune up. Nobody wants to hear me play out of tune, do they? Oh, maybe you do. We can if you like, but let's tune it. And you can see there's certainly big enough letters there to let you know where you're at and when you're in tune. So when it's on the floor, you have no problem reading it. It's well lit. Now to take it out of tuner mode, you just hit that twice. No more stepping on two buttons at once. I hate stepping on two buttons at once, and I know they do that to activate the tuner to keep you from accidentally turning it on. But, you know, you don't have to worry about accidentally turning it off. You want it to turn off easy, right? Of course you do. Okay, so we have many. These will be your up and downs. You can see there's arrows, banks. So to find out how many there are, let's just go back one. 32. So there's 32. Are there 32 patches you can put in? No, there's 3 times that, because that would be 96. 3 times 2. Yeah, 3 times 32 is 96. Because you have scenes within the patch, what they call scenes. Scenes A, B, and C, I believe they're called. You can change these buttons to do whatever you want, by the way. I happen to have this one set to scroll through the scenes. You can see this is changing here. And there's 3 different scenes. You can make it so it only goes back and forth between 2 scenes. What does the scene do? Well, the scene will turn off and on any pedals you have assigned in a group. It will change everything. It will turn them off and on, and it will change their settings. So within a song, if you have a certain change for where it comes to the bridge and goes to a chorus, or if you want to set one up to be your solo tone or whatever, you can. And if you want it to just toggle back and forth, you can easily do that by just switching it over to 2 scenes. Not going to show you how to do that for 2 reasons. One, I said this is not a tutorial, and number 2, I'm not sure I remember how, but it's really quick to figure it out. It's intuitive. Back to the firmware upgrade. Well, people complained that even though you could change the scenes, you couldn't change the pedals. They had to be the same pedals. Well, now they don't have to be. You can have different pedals in each scene and set up however you want them. Cool, huh? So, this is, you can see I've called it JCM 800 Dirty. I'll show you what my amp is. I'll hit this button. There's my amp. There's my controls. Kind of looks like a Marshall, right? Brit 800, JCM 800. Now you'll see you don't have all the knobs you might want. Not to worry. You will see there's numbers across here. Number 2 is available, so if we push button 2, you get the rest of your controls. Now, there's more than one amp in here, of course, right? Yeah, of course there is. Now my scroll button will take me through all the different amps that I have, and there are a lot of them. Too many to even, you know, I mean, it's crazy. So we'll push that button and we can, yeah, push this button and we'll exit there again. And see this little star here? If you've made a change, they'll let you know you've made a change. So watch, I'll change patches and go back. No more stars. Now I'm back to the patch I liked. My dirty JCM 800 that I like. Well, I hear a little clean sound. You can see here the effects that you have in your chain. They're lit up. You can change the order of the chain. You can change what the effects are. I could have my clean sound here. Just the way I like it. Okay, well you say, well, I like to turn pedals off and on while I'm playing. I don't want to do this scene mumbo jumbo. Well, that's where this comes in. Right there you can see I've got an EQ pedal assigned to turn off and on, and I can assign these to anything I want them to do. And here that's my chorus. You see it in the blue turn on. Well, how do I know if it's on or not? Well, you look now and you see them lighting up. So here's what the chorus sounds like on this. How about there? I'm very happy with the quality of the sounds. Now this is really silly that I have 96 possibilities because I basically use like 2 sounds. So, okay, I'm using this in a live setting. Now, I want to do a solo. The band's going to drown me out, right? I have this, is this button? Yeah, this button set up is my EQ pedal, and I have it set to boost so I can have my solo. So I can... Chorus again, sorry. You'll have to forgive me for mixing those up. I usually keep this pedal on the other side of the board, but I did this for the sake of the shot. That's why I'm confused as to where I'm going. I know where it is when I'm playing, trust me. So that's that. So now say you want to go into the pedals per se. This little button here doesn't just push in. It goes up and down, sideways, moves. So if I nudge it that way, I will go back along my pedal chain. We'll start with a noise gate. It's got a noise gate. You can set that how you want it. Over here, I have Steve Vai Bad Horsey Wah set up on my pedal. How does that activate? Well, you step down on it and you can adjust the pressure you want it to sense it's turning on. It has a thing where it says, okay, step on it now, and you do it, and that's how hard you want to step to turn it on. Next in the chain, I have a compressor. You can see it's off because it's dark, just like the wah was off because it's dark. Come over here and I've got a tube screamer with all my tube screamer controls. So you want different things, it's the same thing. You can scroll through, you can pick all these different pedals and things. Come over to my next one, there's my amps, we showed you that. Okay, IRs, it has IRs. IRs, an impulse response. It's a fake digital speaker cabinet and microphone combination. You can pick different controls about this. You can pick the cabinet you want. See how we have the little 2 here again? Means we got another screen. I can change kind of how things work within that IR. So how cool is that? And you can select through. You have a whole bunch of different possibilities there. And then same thing in the next pedal. I happen to have the equalizer picked so I could use it as my clean boost, but you know, I could be doing all different types of equalizers I wanted in there too. And, oh, this has an effects loop, send and return. Sorry about that. You can control your effects loop through this as well. And it's a whole bunch of modulation pedals, phases, vibratos, flangers. And then, of course, we have multiple different delays and reverbs. And then there's an overall setting for your volume pedal. Remember I was talking about the minimum maximum? That's where you can control that. So yeah, it does an awful lot of stuff. And if you can't find a sound that works for you out of this, I mean, there is so much flexibility, and I just happen to like where I have it set. So this is very flexible. flexible. And if you can't use this the same way you would use a pedal board, I feel bad for you. So if I had this on the other side where I normally have it, see, I keep my boost to the outside. That's why I kept going to the wrong side. I keep my boost to the farthest side. That way none of the other pedals are in the way when I want to step on it. I probably should have set it up the way I played it, and then I'd look like less of an idiot. But what fun would that be for anybody to watch this if I look like less of an idiot? So I think that's pretty much the gist of it. And this is why I'm not using the pedal board. This can go right straight to my sound system. It can go right straight to my in-ear monitors. It can go to a monitor speaker that is full range and flat response. Or if I want to use it with an amp, I just turn that IR pedal right off, and then it just works as a simple processor and let the amp and speaker and cab do their thing that they're going to do. What is not to like? And this is why my pedal board sits all zipped up in that nice little case on top of a speaker in the corner of my studio. Next, for video, I'm going to show you what my Boss Katanas can do, because I have the controller pedal for that, and it is pretty much just as flexible. So you guys have a good day.